Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the braid tutorial that I talked about a few weeks ago. There are 3 different braid looks. Unfortunately, one of them I did not hit the record button, but it's basically the same style as the second braid that I did. So I am going to put a few pictures up after this clip of the braids I'm going to do before I blow dry Hannah's hair, and the second one will be the one that I did not record, but like I said, I'll explain how it's the same one, just a little bit different. Alright, her hair is completely brushed out, and I did put Silkening gloss in it from Kenra. So I'm just going to rough dry it until it is 75 to 85% dry. This is a technique that I went over in my Beachy Wave tutorial, and just redoing it here so that way you guys can see it again. So now I'm picking up the brush. I'm going to try to smooth out as much of the curl as possible. She doesn't have super curly hair, but it is decently wavy, so that way I can get a lot of the hair straightened without using a flat iron before I use a curling iron. Alright, so I'm going to use the flat iron just at her root. She does have a little bit of curl, that way it doesn't get frizzy and the straightness is just sealed in there by the heat of the flat iron. I'm just going to continue on to the other side of it and do all her face, because that is where the tightest curls are on her. Continuing on with doing some beach waves. Now for any of these braid looks, you do not have to curl, but I just definitely think it kind of goes with that boho look for braids that's totally in right now. So I'm just going to continue all the way around her head, doing the beachy wave curls, leaving a couple inches out at the bottom. Her hair is straight enough that I probably won't have to go through with a flat iron, and I just kind of pulled a little bit through with the curling iron instead to just flatten it just a little bit more at the end so it was straight. You can alternate both ways with these types of curls, but I do recommend going away from your face until your ear, and then you can start alternating every other way if that's what you prefer. If you didn't watch my Beachy Wave tutorial, the full video of this look is on there, and I am very detailed as to how to blow dry with a round brush and flat iron with curly hair for the roots and the ends, and curling from start to finish. I'm not going to go into super full detail just with this video because we're focusing more on braids, but please check that one out. It is on the channel if you are wanting to know a little bit more in depth about how to do the Beachy Wave curls with a regular curling iron. Alright, now that the whole head is curled, I'm going to use the dry texture spray from Kenra and just finger through her curls. That way they are a little bit messier and textured. The first braid is a braid that does not have hair in the front of the face. You want to section off a decently sized section for braiding. And this look does look like a French braid, but it is not. You actually only pick up that front piece that I have right now to give you that headband look with a braid, but that way it's not glued down to your scalp. So do a regular braid, but pick up the front pieces on your hairline every time you go through the braid and continue down. Again, you do not need a 3-strand French braid. It is just that front hairline. That way it looks loose and textured, and I'm going to show you guys how to loosen the curl. That way it gives it that boho beach look. You are more than welcome to go all the way down the strand of the hair, so that way you have a braid all the way down to the end, but I am going to stop it a little past the ear just to give it a little bit more of a textured look and less conformed. So I use a hair tie, just a little rubber band actually, to fasten the braid at the bottom, just twice, not super tight. And then I do separate the bottom of the braid into 2 pieces and tuck it inside the hole. I will show you this during the 3rd braid that I do, well, the fishtail braid, to see how you can kind of hide that hair tie, and it gives it that little messy look right there. So now I'm going to start pulling the sides of the braids just to give it a little bit more of that messy look. It kind of looks like a butterfly as you're pulling it out like that, like it's spreading its wings. I know that might sound weird, but it does give you a good visualization of how the braid is supposed to be pulling apart. And it gives it that headband look where it is super boho and really cute. I'm just going to spray a little bit of the dry texture spray again just to make sure that it kind of stays in that messy formation. You don't have to do this, but I do like to use this instead of hairspray because that way you get a little bit more of a couple days out of it than just that first day, since it's right by your hairline. Alright, this is the fishtail braid. I use a hair tie at the top of the fishtail just to hold all the hair in, and it separates it a little bit more easy as you start it. So you want to do 2 sections of your hair, and each section you pull to start the braid, you want to pull from behind the ponytail essentially and crisscross it. So again, from the back over to the other side, doing it on the other side repeated, and just continuing. You don't want to pull super huge sections. This client of mine has a ton of hair, so I am able to pull a decent amount of section, but if you do have medium to fine hair, you can do this look as well. It's just going to be a smaller braid. So make sure you're just pulling smaller sections when you're starting the top of this fishtail. And really, that's all there is to it, to any type of fishtail braid. You can do the headband braid like I did previously with a fishtail if you wanted and just only did the 2 strands and pull up the 2nd strand on your hairline. So while I'm doing this, I wanted to talk about that 2nd braid look. It's the same style as the headband braid, but I really just pulled a few pieces of hair out by your hairline, and I did 2 of them, and one on each side. That way they're kind of like pigtails away from your face, but like I said, you can do the same exact style as the headband, but just leave some hair out in the front, and you can just do the exact same style. So just continuing on with the fishtail, it's starting to look a little bit more like an actual fishtail, where they get this braid name from. Continuing down, you can start taking a little bit smaller of a section just so it's not as wide. You're ending up with less hair now too. So just continuing all the way down. You can kind of stop honestly wherever you want. I stopped about 4 inches from the bottom. So I'm going to hair tie it off with a little tiny rubber band again. And then separating it into 2 sections right at the bottom to turn that end in so it hides that hair tie right there. So just shoving it through right there. A lot of girls, when we were little, we used to wear our hair like that in a ponytail. So it's kind of just like when your mom would put your hair in a ponytail, loosen it, and then tuck your hair under. That way it would hide your hair tie. So now I'm gonna carefully cut the top hair tie out. I would suggest maybe having someone else do that unless you have a mirror that gives you full range, so that way you don't end up cutting a chunk of your hair out. And now I'm really just gonna start loosening the fishtail. That way it gives it a little bit more of texture. Like I said, Hannah has a ton of hair, so that's why this fishtail look works so beautiful on her, is that she has a lot of hair to play with, and it just gives it a really full braid. But like I said, you can do this on finer hair, medium hair. It really is kind of like an all type of hair look, but it is awesome when you have a ton of hair to just braid your hair like this instead of putting it up and giving it damage in a ponytail. I'm just going to continue on, just pulling some pieces out until I like the way that it looks, all the way down to the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any questions or any other braids that you would want me to do. I love these looks. They're super fun, and it gives me a chance to just explore between cutting and coloring all day long. So please make sure to subscribe if you like our channel and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Thanks!